Hi and welcome to this part of the import styles training videos where we will show you how to import 4 different templates in 8 minutes. I hope you were able to watch the first part of the video which covered the basics. You will soon see that import styles is a really powerful tool that will help you enhance your brand. This video expects you to be familiar with basic concepts like easy mapping, mapping fields, and table and scalar fields. I also hope you had a chance to look around the sample template. If you know Microsoft Office Word, you will find following along very easy. If you don't worry, we'll tell you enough to make you productive. Let's dive right in by looking at the template that we downloaded from Import Styles. This template has a lot of tables. Before we end, I'll also tell you why I like tables. I like turning the table grid lines on so that I can see what's going on. You will also want to turn on the paragraph markers. This is where the fun actually begins and you will be turning the template into your own. By the way, do make a copy of a sample before you begin. And now let's actually start changing the static parts of the template. Remember, we mentioned static parts as those parts that don't change. After you do that, you can go ahead, change the logos, edit other parts that you want to change. Also remember that every part of this template is already set up with easy map fields. Notice the logo. As the logo gets bigger, the table adjusts itself, and that's also one of the reasons I like the table. The remaining parts of the invoice preserve the layout when you use tables. With the header section done, I'm going to knock off this shipping dates because my company doesn't really require them. By the way, the other thing I want to do is to have item and item description in the same line to preserve space, and watch how I do that. I split the table into additional columns, both the header and the row, and that will actually give me a table with more columns, and now I have item and item description in a single line. Now that you have completed editing, let's try to import these templates into QBO, both the old template without changes and the new template where you applied your own brand. Looks like everything is okay and you're able to see the preview. If you like what you see, go ahead and save the template, the original one as test1 and the newly changed template as test2. After a successful import, you will see both of these templates test1 and test2 show up in custom form styles as a printable option. Let's now test it out by printing a real invoice. Let's now print your first two invoice templates, brand new invoice templates that you created. Let's first print test 1 and see how it looks. There you go, print preview, everything's looking good. Let's repeat the same with test 2, the second invoice. Again, everything looked good. Congratulations, you just imported your first two templates. Now I will show you how easy it is to actually convert your template to landscape mode. I'm choosing all on the template, turning the grid lines on, changing the margins from portrait to landscape, and notice now how easy it is to move tables around to fit the new mode of landscape. The grid lines will guide you as you actually make those changes. There you go. Get the tables right. Once you do that, I want to actually preserve space on the landscape mode. So I'm going to change it to a smaller logo. And once I do that, I'll want to repeat for other parts of the template until the entire template now is set to landscape mode. Notice by the way that I again did not have to change anything related to mapping because every field in this template remains the same. It's all set to easy mapping fields. And once it's all done, you'll just want to double check by removing the grid lines and reviewing the end results to see if everything is where it's supposed to be. A landscape template is a very nifty option to have if you have longer description and less items, and you can fit everything into one page without actually moving over to multiple pages. This is where the power of Microsoft Word really shines through, and you have a number of options to style your template like page numbers, place them wherever you want, headers, footers, and many such power features. I'll now very quickly make some changes. I will actually replace some text with images and check on the typos on the easy map keys, and with that we are all set. Before trying to import this template, I'm going to download a few from the Microsoft Office area to show you more tricks and we'll then import multiple templates all at the same time. Here I'm going to download two of them now. I've now made a copy of this template that I downloaded and begin editing. I'll first change all the static areas because I know the name of my company. I'll do the same thing. By the way, do keep your easy map catalog handy as you make these changes. There I'm going to change my company address. I'm going to type it in, and after that I will start keying in easy map key values for date, for the billing address and the shipping address, and maybe the instructions, which I will replace with the easy mapping key for message. And at that point I will move on and show you a neat little trick that I do with the table. Remember the instructions from before where we said table and scalar fields must be kept separate. So in this case, quantity, description, unit price, and so on must be kept separate from the subtotal section. So the first thing I'm doing right now is splitting the table. The other thing I want to happen is get the subtotal section to start exactly where the activity table ends. There are many ways to do this, but I like to do this using tables. So I'll create a table with two rows, and I'll go hide the borders, and what I will do is I will copy each of these tables into those rows. So I'll copy the first table into the first row and the second one into the second row, and before you know it, you have two tables which are inside another table, and they look exactly like they are together, but they're actually separate. You'll find this trick really handy, and you should use it whenever you want to separate table and scalar fields. With all the hard work done, it's time to try to import and check the results out using real transactions, and that's what we will do now. Notice at no point in time you had to actually use the UI to do mapping, and if you're doing that, you're doing something wrong. There you go, that's another template imported and looking good. Now go ahead and name it. And once you name it, we can now go to a real transaction and try to see how the new template looks on a real transaction. We'll print these transactions one after the other. Let's try the last template that we imported and see how it looks in a real transaction. And there you go. Now let's try one more, a few more actually. So now you have completely different looking forms for each of your customers. This is another that we imported right out of Microsoft free templates. Remember, you can do this for invoices, estimates, credit memos in France, any form types that import style support. Let's now look at the landscape one. There you go, entirely different again. With that, I hope this video gives you an idea about how powerful import styles can be and how you can use it well with just a good knowledge of Microsoft Word and a few concepts like the easy mapping keys. Import styles is a really powerful way to retain or enrich your brand. I hope you enjoyed this video and happy importing. If you have feedback to pass to us on this feature which is in labs, please do so over Quickbooks Online help or support channels. Thank you very much for watching.